If someone asks you, why do you go to college? Why do you need an education for? How would you answer that? Well, my story goes way back. At birth, I was not welcomed in my family. My mother lost her only son when he was 2 years old. The only reason she risked the one-child policy by having another child was that she wanted a son. My birth was accompanied by sleepless nights of sighs and tears. What a disappointment. Things changed when I was about 5 years old. My mother was told that I was very smart at school. She was overjoyed. I'll raise her like a son, she told herself. I quickly learned that good grades would make my parents proud. I then became the favorite child in the family. My mother would introduce me to people. This is my daughter. She's very smart. I raised her like a son. Education for me was a way to win my parents' love, to carry my mother's hopes and dreams for her lost son, to bring honor to my family. As I grew older, I became more aware that my family was poor. I remember having frostbite on my hands and feet because we didn't have heat or warm clothes. I remember begging my mother a whole summer to buy a dress I liked for a long time, with a no for an answer every single time. Every day I walked by the shop, the dress was just there, staring at me and laughing at me. I remember my sixth grade teacher told everyone in class that my mother was a cheap woman because we were always late for tuition. Shame, such a shame, being poor. How do I change this? Education was the only way I knew how. And I did it. I made it to a very prestigious university in Nanjing, the capital city of Jiangsu province, a city that hosts 51 colleges and universities where you could meet people from different countries and a different dimension. Yes, I met Jesus. Thanks to a group of missionaries from the US, I then learned about Hudson Taylor, David Livingstone, and Gladys Aylward. I personally knew people who gave up their successful career, went to a seminary, and became full-time pastors. If that doesn't impress you, you must know that in China, that means giving up your social identity, a lifetime of poverty guaranteed, and on top of that, risking your life. In fact, some of them are in jail as we speak. I also heard stories about how people became doctors just because they wanted to save souls through saving lives. I learned Christian businessmen donated money to help the poor and the needy, to build schools and hospitals. I read stories about people learning another language so they could share the gospel. I slowly came to understand that there were more important things than myself, my future, even my family. Education for the first time was not about winning favors, bringing honors, or making a comfortable life, but about how to better serve the Lord. Then how do I serve the Lord with my education? I have no sure answer for that, but I have seen things that help me begin answering that question. After teaching more than a decade in China's secondary and higher education, private and public, I saw hollowed hearts, full minds, blind eyes. I saw students being fed with lies and hatred. I saw parents' anxiety. I saw an increasing number of students' suicide. I saw censored books and curriculums. I saw professors get suspended or fired for things they said. I saw schools becoming businesses. I saw teachers asking for bribes. I saw parents get arrested for teaching their children at home. What is wrong? Everything is wrong. God is wiped out in our education system. There is no God. There's no Savior, that's what they say. That's why I saw Christian schools had to go underground. Christian teachers were put to jail. There's no fear of the Lord in our education. Talk of God is prohibited. Free minds and free will are forbidden, all through the so-called education. How do I serve the Lord with my education? I still have no sure answer. But I do believe God didn't open my eyes for nothing. He didn't bring me to Geneva for nothing. He gave me a heart for China's education. He gave me an opportunity to meet good Christian educators and see good Christian education. Step by step, He's preparing me. Now He's given me an opportunity to study in a PhD program in another Christian university, which I did not plan when I first arrived here. He planned it. How do I serve the Lord with my education? I have no sure answer for that. I'm still learning. I'm still praying. I pray that He uses me, uses my education to have His will fulfilled in this crooked education system of my country, a country filled with His people. My education finally has a purpose. It isn't for anything. It is for Him.